All right, welcome everyone to episode 2 impromptu of Shop Talk, LHS Shop Talk, actually. And I guess we're going to start like we did last time with cigar. And I've got mine here, which is one I don't normally smoke because it's a Churchill. That's a big boy there. It's 7 by 52. That's a big one. And you can tell, I don't know if you can tell from the light, but you can see, if you can, see how brown the cellophane is? It's been in the humidor a long time because I don't smoke Churchills. But what it is a Vega de Tabacalera Esteli. Right there. Vega de Tabacalera Esteli. Well, I've never had one before. I know who sent it to me because it's a friend of mine who loves Churchills, so I know it came from him. So I'm going to go light this thing up while Bill tells you what he's got.
Yes, I'm looking mine up right now. This is one that I have a few left of. These are my Man of Wars that I got that have the caps that are all bad. And I'm like not even at my camera. Where's my camera at? Oh my goodness. I'm on my other laptop, so you can see the cap is kind of all messed up and stuff like that. However, you can cut it off and smoke it. These are kind of like a torpedo shaped, and my camera is really not doing the color any justice. It's actually nice and dark brown, and it's a pretty decent smoke. I probably only have one or two of these left, and it says it's a Man of War Reunion or something. Ruination.
Ruination, the ruination of the universe.
Yeah, ruin the Asian. So I'm going to get it lit up here too. I think these were a little dry before I ever got them, and they've never quite recovered, but I'm not as picky.
So far, this one's burning pretty well. I punched it again.
Excellent lighter.
Must still be cold in Montana.
Yeah, it's in the 30s outside. It's snowing up at the ski hill right now. We got rain this morning here. It was just over freezing, so we didn't get any white stuff added. It just made everything that was still stuck on the ground really slippery.
Well, it's like 60 something here, but we'll take it. Or close to 60 anyway. Maybe 61, 62.
Yeah.
So I don't have to have the heat on out here. It's actually warm enough to sit here in my sandals and my shorts.
Well, I don't have my hat on like I normally do, so. But I do have my heater on. It's right next to me, so. But it's silent.
All right. So first, I can talk about something Linux related.
Sweet.
Based on the comments from the last Shop Talk, I had some feedback, which actually told me, because I was complaining about my Atheros Bluetooth controller in the Hamstack PC that didn't want to work.
Yeah.
And let me see. Let me find out who sent it to me, because I think it was Don Gover, but maybe not. Hang on a second. I don't want to give credit where it isn't due. Not that would be that bad a thing, I suppose. Probably should have done this before I started up the recording, because man, did we go long on the last episode. I had no idea we were rambling on like that. You know, I figured when we talked about changing up the format that we'd wind up with shorter episodes, but quite the opposite is currently going on. So,
well, yeah, we just need to shorten the long topic a little bit. I think we maybe added too much embellishment on the individual topics.
Can you have too much embellishment? Yes, you can.
I guess,
Oh, God, come on. Can't even log into my own servers in my day.
I wonder if this thing just needs a reboot here. Quit.
Well, the IT crowd says that's your first action.
Yeah, my box was not happy with me for some reason. Close tabs. I don't know why. Oh, what are you doing here? Yeah. For some reason, does not see my camera. Wonder if something changed underneath.
That's interesting.
I really haven't rebooted it since I booted it the very first time, so I guess that's good.
Yeah. All right. So the comment was on YouTube, so now I have to go back to the. Let's see. There it is. Let's see. How do I get to the comments? I don't want to start up the episode, but that's what looks like is going to happen. Oh no, there we go. So comments. Yes, I see there's a comment. How do I get to it? YouTube used to be so much easier to navigate.
Yeah, it's a little complex now. So this is, let me get this right. So I'll give you some more information on my cigar here while you're doing that. It's the Man of War Ruination, I guess that's what you would call it. It is the Robusto number 2, which is really the Gordo size. It's the 6x60 with the torpedoed style ends, and it's on the full flavored shape for a profile, which is nice.
Okay, so it's actually Jeremy. Looking up his call sign now. $85HQN.
Okay.
Who sent me the information.
And what did he have to say?
And what he had to say was there's a package, a firmware package in the Debian repos called firmware-Atheros. And he said that should probably have the information in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch the video over to my terminal window, like that, and then I'm going to SSH into my ham shack computer from here. Going to switch over to root user. Was this typing music?
Yeah, deep in loading up.
All right, so I'll do an apt update, get all the current versions, make sure everything's up to date here, which will take a second. It's not the fastest computer in the world. Okay. And then, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do apt install firmware Atheros. Oh, look, there it is. So what I have is a ATH3K chip for Bluetooth. So we'll do a dpackage minus capital L firmware Atheros. Pipe that through less. Oh, look, right there. First few files. AR3K. AtherBT. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 firmware files. Oh, no, there's more than that. Yeah, there's like 15 or 20 different firmware files in there for the Atheros 3K chipset. First 8 are for Bluetooth. So, very cool. I can't actually test this. I can do... I wish I could remember the other command besides LSHW that gives you a nice printout of all the devices in your system. There's another one that's like really clean and succinct. LSHW tends to be.
You got like depending on the device, right? You got the LSPCI, LSUSB.
Yeah, and it would be PCI.
So just do LSPCI.
LSPCI Qualcomm. Let me see. Let me try and grep it. Atheros. Well, there is a Atheros chipset in there. It says wireless adapter. It wouldn't be USB. There is an Atheros USB chipset in there. Yeah, let me do a LSHW. It's wordy, but we'll find what we need here. Bluetooth, USB, Bluetooth wireless. Right there. There it is. Bluetooth wireless. It says unclaimed. Bluetooth wireless interface, Bluetooth EDR dongle. That's the Kensington one that I stuck in there, which is a piece of crap. So I would actually try and bring this thing up, but I don't know. Let me see what the module would be. ATH3K. So let me see if that brings it up. ATH3K. All right. And let's go back to that chip and see if the driver has claimed it. Well, it still says unclaimed. Might require a reboot, though, for the firmware to be loaded into the kernel. Unfortunately, if I reboot this machine, it won't reconnect to the network. So I'm not going to do that. So I'll just switch back to us. But that's a step in the right direction. So thanks, Jeremy, for that pointer. And now that the firmware is there, the device might load up at boot time and be able to be brought up by the kernel. So I'm going to try that after we're done.
So my camera is working on the other machine. It's just that the version of Skype that they have pushed through to through Deep End right now is broken.
Of course.
Which is just great. I just launched the web version of Skype over there, and of course, it sees the camera just fine. So,
well, even though my humidor's humidity is better now, this cigar is obviously pretty dry. But it actually feels pretty good, though. It doesn't feel particularly dry. But that ash dropped off pretty quick.
Yeah, that normally is a sign of lack of oils and stuff in it. So it burns like a cigarette and ashes like one, right?
No, it's burning fine. I'm not sure what the deal there is. Maybe it's just been around too long. It's not that old. Of course, it's been in my humidor for probably 2 years, and I don't know how long is in his.
Too long, probably. Or maybe not long enough in the humidor when it was actually ready to be in there.
Yeah, probably. I do have, I told you about those Dos Lomas cigars that I found, or that I was gifted.
Yeah.
I might have to break one of those out on this one of these times. I've been curious because according to the manufacturer, those were only manufactured in 1998.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
It might go up like a, stick of dynamite. I don't know.
Yeah, quite possible.
I'm going to have it in the humidor for at least a month before I try and light them, but it should be interesting anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So so for what I'm drinking, this is my favorite clever trick. I don't want to here. Let me turn it let me do the movie shot so you can kind of see what it is. But
it's not a product placement.
Yeah, not product placement. But this is my favorite trick to do whenever I go somewhere. I'll take a bottle of Coke Zero or Pepsi or whatever, and drink about that much, and then replace the rest of it with a brown liquor. So it doesn't look any different, but it's a Coke Plus.
Don't do this at your job, kids, okay? It's not a good decision.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've seen someone take a can and do the same thing. I just consider it lazy when you're doing it with a can because you're not really fooling anybody.
Well, let's see. Do I want to give this secret away? I don't know. Yeah, I probably shouldn't talk about it. At least not live. You never know who's going to see it. I have another trick that I use for another situation that's even better than that one. So
depending on the lighting, this is what I have right here. So this is also from the same company as
coffee stout.
As the hop zone I had. Is that in the right direction or is that backwards?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, good. So it's called Buzzkill Java Stout, and it's by the Bozeman Brewing Company. I just happened to see these at the grocery store today. I was in there getting some stuff for dinner, and I was like, "Ooh, I don't think I've had their stout before." So I've already opened it. I haven't drank from it. I like stouts to kind of get back to normal temperature, not ice cold out of the refrigerator temperature.
Yeah, they shouldn't be like warm, but they should definitely not be cold.
Yeah, so yeah, that's pretty good. I wonder if this is just seasonal or something. 6.2% alcohol by volume.
Coffee stouts usually are kind of a winter thing.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, we have a few local brewers that make coffee stouts as well, and they're generally pretty good. I mean, I guess there's something about mixing stouts with coffee that just kind of works.
Apparently, yeah, that's really good. I'll have to drink all 6 of them because I only got a 6-pack, so I'll just drink them real quick.
I think this weekend I'm going to try, I've been crazy busy lately, as always, to take my own challenge and make 10 JT65 contacts.
Uh-oh. I got to get a working antenna to do that. We're almost melted enough now I can actually get on top and grab my wire antenna and reposition that so I can actually use that.
You don't have like an HF vertical or something?
I have the HF9V, but it's kind of needs taken down and cleaned up, all the contact points cleaned up. I think it's not electrically sound anymore. And I have my portable vertical, which is still over in the side yard, still on 10 meters from the 10-meter contest. So I haven't even moved that. And that I could move back there and just set on 20 or something like that, and then just use it on 20. I know when we're recording this, NAQP's single sideband is this weekend, but I probably won't get on there. It is on Saturday. And I'm not sure what I'm doing Saturday, but I'm going skiing on Sunday. So
yeah, you're going skiing all the time. How close are you to Red Lodge?
Red Lodge are about an hour,
okay.
A little less than an hour. But I'm going to a place called Bridger Bowl, which is over in Bozeman, and that's about 2-hour drive, maybe a little less.
Yeah, it must be nice being near all those ski hills.
Yeah, it's not far. I could go out and back in a day. It's not that big a deal. Even to Bozeman, I've done that before. I just leave the house around 6 and show up the ski hill about 8:15, get my stuff all together, get my lift ticket, and have a coffee, and then get on the lift as soon as it opens at 9 and ski till early afternoon, and then head back and be back by dinner. So it's pretty easy stuff. But my son's over there for college, so we're going to visit him while we're there. My oldest, he's going to go skiing with me, and his roommate will ski with us as well. And we'll be... Yeah, and then after that, we'll meet up with my wife and daughter and have some dinner and head back to Billings.
Boza Billings?
Yeah, Boza Billings. A lot of bees, bee towns.
That's what Billings is after you've had dinner and several cocktails. It's Boza Billings, yeah.
Boza Billings. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the webcam you posted earlier with the nice fresh snowfall there up at the hill. Looked nice. Yeah. Nice wintry scene. All our snow is gone now.
Getting 6 inches. Well, they've had 6 inches this morning when they posted out their powder alert, and I think they were still getting some more snow. It was, like I say, raining here this morning. no snow here, but that's fine. And I think Bozeman was getting some snow too. It's a part of the same frontal boundary that's kind of passing through the state, so should be some good powder. I think Bridger's got like 65 inches of base, so it's pretty decent base over there anyway. And the conditions have been pretty good there lately. They had a really rough early season. They were not able to open up in November like they normally do. They had to wait till, I think it was like the second week of December. They finally skirted out enough snow to make it feasible over there, where at Red Lodge we actually had quite a dumping of snow early on and didn't have any inversions or anything else like that to screw it up and drop rain on the slopes.
Right. Next time we do this, I'm going to have to keep some of the things I've been doing in the Linux world handy so I can show them off, because I have been finding some pretty neat stuff. Like today I've been working for the first time in any real way with function procedure definitions in Bash, which is not that it's not that complicated or amazing or anything like that. But usually when I script or do programming, it's in some other language, not in Bash. But
I wrote a Bash script just yesterday.
I'm actually writing a very complex one. By the time this is done, it's probably going to be 600 or 700 lines of code. But
well, I do have some Linuxy stuff news. I have it's also amateur radio related, so this works out perfectly.
Yes.
So I have a conference node that I supply for the K2BSA. We had it for Jamboree on the Air and for the National Jamboree called Star Jambo Star. And I had it on AWS running on Windows. And I was tired of paying the bill. And then I saw just the other day that DigitalOcean had upgraded all their little droplets. So they have more memory and stuff like that. So I converted that node over to an Ubuntu droplet. And it's running over there now. However, I have crashed it several times by just connecting to it. I don't know why it does that. I noticed that with the Linux version of the bridge. It just, for some reason, it core dumps quite easily. So that's what I had to write my bash script for, was to basically say, hey, if the service is not running, go ahead and start it up again. So it checks every minute to see if it's alive. Are you alive? Are you alive? Are you alive?
Does it crash in the middle of, like, contacts and stuff?
No. I mean, it's like, if it's been idle for a long time and then someone connects to it, I think occasionally it'll just like go belly up. And, I got the core dump file and I don't know. I didn't find anything really useful in it. I guess I'm not much of a hex dump coder or whatever. So I have to try to figure out why it does it every once in a while. It's like, it basically comes across like a user and it says it's unauthorized or something like that, where it may even be like the Echolink server that I'm pointed to might have like a stale IP address for the user or something like that. Because that's all it does for its matching. It says, is this the IP that you're actually logged in with? So it gets the username, the current IP address, and it looks into the surface for, the master servers to see what your registered IP is that you just authenticated with. Because the individual conference nodes don't do any authentication. I mean, they don't take your password again or anything else like that. They only look for that IP address matching.
Right.
So I don't know why that would cause it to say, I'm out of here. But it's the last thing in the log every time is that, unauthorized user or something like that.
Okay. I was just checking. I switched over to the browser window because I was bringing up the Etherpad Lite for episode 200. And the reason I was doing that is because I remembered that we were having problems with the Etherpad Lite, and it had to do with database connectivity. So I actually set it up with a local database, and that is still holding firm, I guess. So that means oh crap, I just closed that window. What did I just do? What did I just do? Huh, that's weird. Let's come back to us. There we go. I just closed something. I guess it wasn't anything important, but it was just the tab. Gotcha. Man, my head is elsewhere today. So now I have to figure out why the database server that I have keeps going offline. it goes offline apparently like every 30 seconds or something.
Interesting.
Just long enough to drop the connections. The server itself is up. It has something to do with MySQL or MariaDB. I think I'm using MariaDB.
Yeah.
Because
could just be timeout or something like that. It's flaking on.
Yeah, but other things are using that database server, and they seem to be working fine. So I'm not sure if it's just because Etherpad is very, data intensive, and it's pushing that connection a lot. And if the other things are a little more transient, then it's fine. But yeah, something's clearly going on.
That's interesting. Yeah, I've never really had any problems with maintaining connection to like MariaDB or MySQL before. But that version of Etherpad's running what, a JDBC connection?
It's some sort of JDBC connector because it's built into the server. So I'm assuming since the server is JavaScript or Java, that so be the connector.
Yeah. It's probably just old. They have made like vast improvements to that Java connector and the Java drivers.
You know what it almost seems like, now that I think of it? It almost seems like an ARP issue. It almost seems like there may be two things on the same IP address, and it's kind of swapping back and forth. That's kind of what it seems like. It's frequent enough that could be an issue. I probably need to...
Do you have it pointed to a host name or to an IP?
Host name. But if the IPs are... Well, maybe it is pointing to the IP address. But as I say, if there are two IP addresses that are the same on two different hosts on that network, then it could easily swap back and forth and drop the connection.
Yeah. I mean, you could always, depending upon if it knows the MAC layer address, you could always ARP static it.
Yeah.
To make sure that the only IP address that answers up is that one with that NIC in it. But it would have to know that. I mean, it'd have to be on the same switch.
Speaking of ARPing, actually, that is one thing I can show folks. It's a kind of a neat trick that I needed to use for the very first time in like my years. But there was a situation where I actually had to change a host and I had to bring it online quickly. So there's a command, which I didn't even know about until yesterday, called ARPing, or ARPing.
Uh-huh.
And what you can do is you can type a command like, if you update the IP address on a machine, you can type ARPing, or ARPing, or however the hell you want to call it, -C, -C4, -A, and then the device, like ETH0 or something like that. And then you put out your IP address, like 192.168.1.5 or something like that. And then what it does is it forces a gratuitous ARP. So if you need to update the ARP table on your network, on your various devices, the fastest way to do that is to send out a gratuitous ARP, or a GARP, the world according to gratuitous ARP. And that is how you do it. You use the ARPing command with a couple of useful little flags, and it sends out a gratuitous ARP from a Linux machine. So if you ever have to do that.
Does it just like look for devices in the same subnet? It says, who has this address, who has this address, who has this address?
It doesn't do that. It actually just sends out a gratuitous reply. It sends out a reply to a question that wasn't asked. And then, based on the protocol, all the other machines are supposed to update their tables based on the reply, even if they didn't ask. That's the nature of a gratuitous ARP.
I was thinking I used to do, this is basically pinging the broadcast of a subnet would have the same effect because everybody would re-ARP out on the ICOMP request.
I don't know if that's necessarily like RFC compliant, just pinging the broadcast address. I don't know if that will force an update to the ARP table. It could.
Well, if they're on the same subnet, they should be able to see that.
Right.
Because every IP address will respond to that, as long as you don't have like directed broadcast turn on or something like that. On a commercial network, you have more control over that stuff. On a managed switch, you tend to not want any broadcast period.
Right.
Yeah, so you'll find on those switches that a broadcast will basically end up going to like a DHCP server or something like that, because they're looking for those requests and broadcasts. So, because they don't want individual clients to answer up anything.
Right.
Because then you'd end up with stuff like, I guess in the old days you'd end up with like NT boxes taking over domain control and stuff like that, because they respond the fastest. And it's like, oh yeah, I'm now the master browser for the network.
Right.
It's like, why is the PC over there next to the label maker, the broadcast, the domain master for the entire network?
That was very specific. It sounds like something from your past.
Yeah. Yeah, it used to be like an odd behavior that you would see and stuff like that in some commercial networks. I used to see that when I used to do a lot of sniffing with Wireshark. You kind of pick up on seeing some of these odd behaviors, and I always kind of run Wireshark the first time I plug into someone's switch, just to see if they've added any control over actual traffic controls and stuff like that. If I could start seeing other traffic that's not destined for my port, then I know they really haven't done anything. They virtually plugged in a switch and turned it into a hub.
Yeah. Yeah, at work we have a million projects going on, and right in the middle of a conversation about something else, someone decided that maybe we should consider turning on 802.1x authentication on all of our switches. It's like, I hope you understand the giganticness of that project if you decide to do that, but because we have a lot of devices and none of them have ever had that done. So. I have been playing around with some neat high availability protocols, though, specifically CARP. Yes, I know it spells carp. And VRRP and HSRP, which those are pretty cool technologies, and especially on the Cisco devices I use, they are really, really simple to implement, and they create, as long as you have two connected devices, they create a high availability, basically a cluster setup, pretty much automatically. And it's like the configuration for most of those, like in pfSense, CIRP is like 5 mouse clicks, and on a Cisco switch stack or a switch network, it's like 4 lines of code. So, and you basically create a master slave or a master slave arrangement of switches, and they don't have to be connected. They don't have to be like stacked or anything. They can be one switch over here and one switch, way over there. As long as they can talk to each other, it creates a network where you have sort of sub IP addresses, like you have .5, 6, 7, and 8, which all map to .1. So whichever one is the master responds, and if that one goes offline, then there's an election. Then the other. I don't have to answer you. And then the the other one responds to .1, once the election is done. So
got my hair for headbanging, right?
Whoa. Yeah, I got the hair too. My hair looks like crap today, but there we go. Got the kind of lion mane thing going on. But
I shaved mine all off the other day, so it's all nice and short, except for my little stress spot right there.
Is that like white or bald?
Oh no, it's gray. Pure gray.
Is that where you just rub your head a lot? It's like
must be. I always say it's from the lightning strike when I was 18. So.
Did you actually get hit by lightning when you were 18?
Close enough. hit a tree outside my house, and then it came in on my tower through the coax into the bedroom. Blew up the had a Asden FM VHF radio there for Civil Air Patrol and ham radio, and blew that up. Blew the power supply up. Bounced all around the room. Took a file cabinet and crushed it. I've never done this before. Crushed the file cabinet. and it melted all the phone wires in the house. What else did it do? Oh, it ended up exiting the house through the rebar in the concrete floor,
Right.
blowing a hole about like 12 inches wide by 6 inches deep in the concrete, turning it to concrete powder.
Nice.
And I was laying on the bed like about 3 foot away from the radio. I was laying in bed watching TV, and then all of a sudden I just felt this immense heat just instantly come into the room, and I grabbed my mattress. I was on a twin, and I just kind of just grabbed it and just rolled with the whole mattress off to the side of the bed, which luckily I did, because inside the mattress was all these components from the power supply and everything else, like stuck in there, stuck in the ceiling and everything else. It's like everything in the whole board desoldered and went everywhere. It was just amazing power of lightning. I was deaf in my right ear for about 4 hours, and it was intense. I was a little scared to go out in lightning storms after that for probably about a good year.
I can imagine.
Really gun shy.
Was that in Florida?
Yep, that was in Naples, Florida. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which you get plenty of lightning there. So every storm, it was like, oh my God, I'm going to die.
Yeah.
They have to get me, I swear. Yeah. Don't screw around with lightning, kids. It's it's not fun.
I was going to say, wow, shocking, but...
Yeah. And I got a new radio and everything else out of it. Like, it was funny because we ended up just like stacking all of our electronics that basically got shot in the house, and in a big pile. The insurance adjuster came out and stuff like that, and was like, "Yep, okay." Well, I think we had Allstate back then, and they were like part owned by Sears or something like that. So I said, "Well, if you can get almost all of this at Sears, just go to Sears and get it all." And I was like, "Well, I can't get a ham radio from Sears," so I ended up getting a new Asden. Back then I think it's the PCS 5000 or something like that. And I still have that radio today. Somewhere in my box I have that Asden. But I don't have the one that blew up. That one's gone. Oh yeah, look at that. I have it right here. This is the one that I kept. Still had my old call sign from Civil Air Patrol on it. Sparrow 836.
Nice.
Good little radio. I mean, I've used it after that, obviously, for ham radio for quite a while. I don't really use 2 meters much anymore, so I have plenty of these kind of like sitting around the house. I even have like an old ICOM 27 or something like that. Yeah, 27H and a bunch of other random 2 meter gear. Back when I was active in 2 meters. Now I just have the same thing that everybody hates, right? The bang! With the Nyogen or whatever they call that antenna. It works really well. I mean, for what I use it for, which is just airy stuff once in a while, I don't need anything else.
Yeah, I have a Yaesu FT something or HT, I don't know. FT92? No. Anyway, some sort of Yaesu handy-talkie that doesn't work. And
these puppies. This is a Kenwood 70-watt 2 meter rig. Big old honking heat sink on it. And then I have the twins too, which I don't use either. Those are the all mode 751, 851 from Kenwood.
Yeah, I've never had an all mode VHF rig.
Yeah, I have both the VHF and the UHF all modes. They both have the pot problem. They smoked too much pot when they were younger, and they're a little dead now. No, the potentiometers on the volume control, squelch, and gain controls all go bad eventually.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's a Kenwood issue. I don't think anybody else really had those kind of problems, but Kenwood was notorious for it on those rigs, and so I have replacement pots for it in in a bag here somewhere. I just haven't tore apart the faceplate and pulled them off the board to resolder them.
Right.
But eventually I will. I mean, because I want to kind of get back into satellite stuff, especially the ones with the transponders in them that you can use sideband and stuff on. And I mean, I have all the stuff. I mean, it's not like I have to go invest any money, and the pots are already here, so it's just a matter of putting it all back together. I got, beams on the side of the house here. They're just sitting on the side of the house.
But none of your antennas worked right now.
Well, yeah, those really don't work because they're not plugged into anything.
Well, they might work. There's no rigs.
Yeah, that's basically true. Yeah, I probably have more antennas than radios, but yeah, they're almost all not hooked up.
Yeah, I don't. Like we talked about on the show the other night, I still have that Diamond, whatever one it is, AR300, I think, that I bought at Hamvention 2 years ago, still sitting in the package. One of these days, I'll have to get it up on the roof.
Oh yeah, because that's the base one, right? That's a 2 meter 440, or
yeah, 2 meter 70 centimeter.
Because you bought a new mobile one this last year.
You
put that
yes,
on
and that one's actually like right behind me somewhere in the garage because it really only ever goes.
You put the Escalade for the trip home.
Well, it was on the Escalade for the trip home, but then it came off the Escalade right after that.
Oh, that's right, because Cheryl doesn't need a radio, right?
Actually, now that it's an excuse to put it back in the car, I think, because since then she has her ticket now, so I can, and at least with her privileges, she can get on HF. So maybe I'll have to force that issue. Maybe get her onto just like one of the rag chew VHF nets or something here locally, just to get her to talk on the air.
Yeah, we have several nets that run here. We got like a morning net that runs almost every day during the week. I think I've checked into that maybe once. And I know we got enough women now that are in the hobby up here in town that they run their own. They have like a ladies' net one of the nights, and so they have their own little net that they talk about whatever they talk about. And then we got some other random nets. I think the only one they haven't continued is they used to have a tech net on Wednesday nights. They'd have like a little technology net, but it was more ham radio, my old gear type net type thing. And we used to have a 10 meter net too. They'd run on Fridays, but I think that one died off too. Because generally 10 meters you can run and talk to people in town just on ground wave.
Right.
So it's not bad. It'd be a better use of 10 meters than you have right now, which is almost no use because the band sucks so bad there.
So crap, yeah. Yeah, I'll have to figure out how to get her on the air at least. I'd, like to convince her possibly to get her general. I know we've talked about it a little bit, but right now she doesn't see any purpose in it, and I can kind of see that. But, she'd be really popular on like some of the nets online, being a YL,
Oh yeah.
So.
Oh, for sure. Should get like should put like 10 meters in the car with a little 10 meter ham stick or something like that. Because she can talk on 10 meters voice.
She can, but there is nothing going on 10 meters around here. Nothing.
Do they do any type of nets like that? Do they do like a 6 meter net or anything like that?
Not that I'm aware of. I could probably look into it more, but see, there we go back to 6 meters and my not having 6 meter antenna. Yes, I know. I'll get to that. I really will.
Yeah. Yeah, when I was in Florida, we used to have a lot more of those kind of like click nets, where we had like a 2 meter sideband net, which is, I guess, pretty weird for up here because nobody really uses 2 meter sideband unless they're working satellite or in a contest.
Right.
But we used to use 2 meter sideband all the time in South Florida. I mean, even just mobile and around, you'd be running, a brick in the car and running either single halo or maybe stacked halos on the vehicle. And I remember just driving around in Tampa working Cuba on 2-meter sideband from up there. And it was pretty reliable, 200 and some odd miles, easy, you know, on a general day. As long as there wasn't any like thunderstorms or something like that would screw things up. And then occasionally you get Tropo, and you'd be able to work that. And we'd work from Florida into Ohio and stuff like that on 2 meters. And that's pretty good.
Yeah, I've been able to work some ducting a couple of times. I actually got from Maine into Oklahoma once on 2 meters. That was fun. It's really weird when you're just scanning around the VHF bands and you hear 2 Oklahoma stations talking. It's like, huh? And this is before Echolink, so
yeah.
You're not paying attention.
I am. My Slack just went off, I had to switch over.
I've been doing the same thing. I've been dealing with that while we've been talking as well. So I think I made mine a little less obvious. At least I hope.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm looking right at it. At least it's on the same computer, right? So I'm actually looking down, which means I'm looking at the camera. Because this machine is the XP S13 convertible 13-inch, little fancy Dell laptop. And for some reason on these small laptops, they're putting the damn camera in the bottom by the keyboard, so it's looking up at you. But I guess maybe they intend if you're using the camera, you'd flip the thing up because it's the one that folds over backwards and stuff like that, so you can set it upside down, and I'm assuming the camera would switch with it.
Well, see, my camera's up here on the top, so I assume that it always looks like, for everyone watching this, it looks like I'm looking down because I have to look down to see you. If I'm looking at the camera, which is there, that's not where you are. So I try and make a conscious effort to look at the little green dot instead of you, but it's hard.
Yeah, it's really hard. I know, because like on my desk, I have the camera set way high of the monitor, so it's like I have to really look up to stare at the camera, then I'm not really looking at the monitor. Yeah, let's see. 24, 25.
Well, I managed to get, let's see, almost halfway through mine.
I don't know, about halfway, I guess. Yeah.
Which is pretty good for me because, like I said, I'm not a Churchill person. I like Robustos or Coronas. I like my smokes a little bit on the shorter side. It's funny when you're typing, you can see your fingers, so it looks like this.
Yeah, it's such a stupid place to put a camera. Dell fixes crap, man. Yeah, that's funny. 24. And this one, DP.
Right.
Finish this real quick here, and then Control KU.
Well, I think we both have probably things to attend to, and this is, I imagine, long enough for most people to get bored out of their skulls. So we could probably wrap it up and maybe do another one of these next week or something.
Yeah, quite possibly. I can't think of anything else that's really going on right now. I'm hoping there's enough melt between yesterday's the past couple days to kind of get out and do some antenna work, and maybe I'll get back on the air this weekend and figure out what's up with the Skype version that's running on my stupid deep end machine. That's what I get for using the Chinese OS, right?
Well, if anybody watches this before Sunday, look for me maybe on Sunday on JT65. Maybe we can make a contact while I try and make some contacts on JT65. I'll probably be either 20 or 40 meters because those tend to be pretty good for JT65. So I'll try and be out there sometime on Sunday. So if you get a chance to...
Good luck finding somebody on there, because they're all in FT8 now.
I know, that's why it's a challenge to use JT65 now, not FT8. So
Yeah. So because for the people that still enjoy watching paint dry, and remember to upload a logbook of the world because they're doing that grid challenge this year, and it's the perfect type mode where you pass your grid square with every contact. So
Yeah, your grid square basically is the contact. Your grid square and your DB.
yeah,
Yep.
signal reports. So yeah, very good.
All right, very good. And so we'll wrap this up, episode number 2 of LHS Shop Talk, and we'll put one out, sometime. I guess we'll see you all then. Take care.
73.
That's enough of a hold. I can edit out the last few seconds.